Hi everyone, my name is Marina Williams and I'm a creative portrait photographer based in Florida. Today I'm going to take you through my full editing process in Lightroom on desktop and show you how I turned this portrait into this. I'll be walking you through how I use assisted culling, how I use the geometry tool to correct lines in architectural shots, how I erase distractions using Generative Remove, and how I use masks to get creative with colors in this image. This photo is from a recent shoot that I did in downtown St. Augustine, Florida, but we actually spent the evening wandering around and hitting a few different spots before we found this location. And when we got here, I knew that this was the spot. I knew the fun geometric lines by the stairs on this building would frame her perfectly. So we ended up with a good amount of images from multiple locations, which is where assisted culling comes in. I'll be honest, I'm a manual culler by nature. For portrait sessions like this, I usually like to go through my images myself and make my own decisions on which ones I'm gonna edit. But I still use assisted culling because it can also group images by visual similarity. Let me show you what I mean. Under assisted culling, there are two options, cull and stack. I'm gonna click stack and I can choose to group my images in this gallery by time or visual similarity or both. I'm gonna check both boxes. There's also a slider where you can define each, how more or less similar that you want the groupings to be. So I'm just gonna drag it around until I see groupings that I'm pretty happy with and then click create stacks. When I'm moving between different locations during a shoot, having my gallery organized into groupings like this that I have control over is something that I find really helpful. So once I have my stacks, I go through and I make my selects from there. Once I'm in my edit, I always start in the light panel. I'm gonna make some basic adjustments to exposure and shadows first, pull down the highlights a little bit, add some contrast, and pull back the blacks. Then I'm gonna go to the tone curve and create a slight S shape. I do this on almost every photo that I edit. I place dots at each of the intersections on the curve. I raise the highlights slightly and lower the shadows. It just adds a little contrast and depth without being too heavy-handed. Now I'll move into the color panel and adjust the temperature and tint of the entire image. I'm actually not gonna do much else here for this specific image because we're gonna be making our big changes to color with masks, so just stay tuned for that. But I do want the image to feel bright and vibrant, so I'll pull up those sliders just a little bit. And reminder, a little goes a long way in the color panel, so I like to be a little bit more subtle with my adjustments here. And before I get into retouching, I actually want to straighten this image out first. Because we're shooting against a building with a lot of architectural lines, any distortion from the camera in the way that I angled it is going to show. You can see that the lines on the left side of the wall are angled inward a little bit here, and I just want the image to feel upright and straight. I'll go into the crop, rotate, and geometry panel and click the drop-down arrow for geometry and then do the same for transform. At the bottom, you'll see a checkbox for constrain crop and I'm gonna check it. Now I can use guides to align the lines in this frame by clicking this icon here and clicking and dragging on different points in the image to create parallel lines. You can see how the columns and the staircase edge give me really clear reference points for me to make both vertical and horizontal lines. So I'll just adjust until the image feels upright and the lines are where they should be. This tool really makes a big difference on architectural lines like this one. So here is the before and here's after. Okay, so looking at this image, there are a few things that I want to clean up before I get into masking. So I do the edits in this order so that the AI-powered edits are applied after I clean things up. I'm gonna open the Remove tool and check the Use Generative AI checkbox. I use Generative Remove for retouching because it does a much quicker job than Clone or Heal does on large areas like the crack in the wall right here. I'll adjust my brush size and then paint over them and click Remove. You can cycle through the variations and just choose the one that blends best. Next, I wanna clean up some of the spots on the steps. And then there is one more thing I wanna fix. She has a visible seam on the inside of her sleeve. So I'm just gonna zoom in, paint over it, and click Remove, and done. So let's do before and after on the retouching. Here is before, and here's after. All right, now this is where the edit really transforms. I use masks on pretty much every single portrait that I edit, and this one is gonna have a lot of them just because I want to get a little bit creative and show you what masks can really do. First, I wanna completely desaturate the building and background. It's painted a very light blue, but I wanna make it gray in order to make other elements pop. So I'm just gonna open up the masking panel and select background. Lightroom will automatically detect it and isolate it. And from here, I'll just pull the saturation down all the way so the background goes completely gray. All right, now stay with me here. I'm usually very anti-gray because I love color, as you can probably see, but we are doing it for a reason. Next, I'm gonna create a new mask and select subject. I'll bring up the exposure slightly and add a little bit of contrast so that she pops against that gray background. Okay, now this is the big one. I wanna show you how powerful masks are at changing the color in certain parts of your image. I'll create a new mask and use the people option to isolate her and select just her clothing. It automatically detects her outfit without me having to manually draw over it with a brush. So once that's selected, I'll go into the color adjustments and shift the hue to get a really rich, saturated blue color. Now, I love the original color of her outfit, but I just wanted to share how amazing it is that I'm able to make adjustments like this here in Lightroom. I use this feature all the time when the tone of something doesn't match the way that I want it to, or I just want to experiment and try something new. Now I want to bring some of that blue from her outfit into the background. I'm going to use object masking to isolate certain shapes in the architecture of the background, like these steps and some of these geometric accents. If you haven't used an object mask before, I definitely recommend trying it out because it does a really great job at detecting what you want it to select. And there's two different ways that you can select an object: by drawing over it with a brush or by using a rectangular marquee. First, I'm going to use the brush to draw over the zigzag shape on the wall to select it. And then I'm going to scroll down and make changes to the saturation, the temperature, and the hue until it changes to a light blue color. I'll lower the exposure a tiny bit so it stands out even more. And then I'm just going to repeat that process onto other elements in the photo, like these rectangular columns and the trim on the very top of the wall. Last, I'm going to select the stairs and do the same. And this is what ties the whole image together. Let's see the full before and after. Here's the raw image, and then here's where we ended up. All of this was done entirely in Lightroom on desktop in just a few minutes. I can do everything I need in one place, and that is a huge deal for workflow efficiency. You can download Lightroom on desktop and try it out yourself with the link in the description. Thanks for watching.